Well, in a related development, the Ministry of National Security says it would launch an investigation into allegations by CTFM journalist Kuda that he was physically abused when he was arrested by men from the ministry this week. Mr. Kuda, who works with the Accra-based radio station, has been recounting how he was subjected to severe beatings by national security operatives while in handcuffs. The ministry, in a statement that has just been released, says Mr. Kuda gained access into the National Security building through false pretense. Let me share that statement with you. It reads, the Ministry of National Security has taken note of claims by Mr. Caleb Kuda and Ms. Zoe Abu-Baidu, journalists from City FM, that they were manhandled during an interrogation at the ministry on May 11, 2021. The protection of the rights and freedoms of the citizenry remains a cornerstone to safeguarding the peace and stability of the state. Cognizant of the aforementioned, the Ministry of National Security strives at all times to uphold the ethics and professional standards guiding operational duties. This includes, but not limited to, interrogation processes for persons who are required to assist in investigations. And it continues. It is worth noting that the interrogation of the two journalists was necessitated by the following. Mr. Kuda was detected on the third day filming within the precincts of a national security installation, contrary to the no photography rules at such restricted security zones. Upon interrogation, it was revealed that Mr. Kuda had gained access to the premises under false pretense. It was also revealed that Mr. Kuda had forwarded the footages he had taken surreptitiously to Ms. Zoe Abu-Baidu. Upon declining an invitation for an investigation, Ms. Abu-Baidu was picked up by operatives of the ministry. The journalists were released on the same day after the interrogation. Now, there's another angle to the assault of the two CTFM TTTV journalists that's also piqued our attention here at Joy News. It has to do with the involvement of DSP Azugu.
You are the commander of the SWAT team. On the day you were present, DSP, how did your men handle these citizens of Ghana?
It was not in the proper manner. They did not handle them in a professional way, the way they were taught to.
And by not handling them in a professional manner, what exactly are you saying?
Shrug off the security men, they tried to run, and the security men pounced on them. And that one, I agree that on that one, my boys overreacted when they were re-arresting them. Then they put them, I made sure that they were arrested and we put them in the vehicles.
That is DSP Azugu being cross-examined by counsel for the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election commission of inquiry. He admitted to the unprofessional conduct of his men in that bloody incident. Well, it emerged that he was a man who deployed the 7 armed men who stormed the media house to arrest Caleb's colleague, Zoe Abu-Baidu. Caleb has been talking about the role he played in his detention. Let's watch him.
First, they were like, how did I get in there? Forced entry or something like that. So then they take me to the police post where we met DSP Azugu. By this time, the gentleman in plain clothes had gone ahead of us to tell everybody that I had come there, I had breached the protocols, and I was trying to cause them some chaos and trouble. So all the police officers there became very agitated and aggressive towards me.
So the way he reported what you were doing got them angry?
Yes, infuriated. And so they took me to a smaller office. I showed them my ID card to tell them that, look, I'm from City. I agree. I shouldn't have taken them. Let's delete it and please let me go. But they wouldn't. They took me to see Azugu. I showed him my ID card. He said, where are you from? I said, City. Who do you know? I said, Richard Mensah. Then he called Richard. I didn't even give Richard's number. He called OJ. And so by the time he spoke to OJ, in my mind, then it was going to be sorted. By this time, they had taken my phone and they were looking through my chats. And they found out that I had sent photos to Zoe. That is when the gentleman started chatting Zoe as though I was the one talking to him. So around this time, They said, take a statement. They pushed me. I sat on a chair. They slapped me from the back. And they were...
Which of the people are you talking about?
The police officers. These are men in uniform. Some were bearded. They had guns.
Did you see any names?
Masks. Unfortunately, no. But I heard names like Osei and Owusu. Those are the names that I heard. So then...
And this is still in the small office?
This is still in the small office, very close
Azugu's office, near the mango tree?
Yes. So I saw a very elderly policeman. He looks like the traditional policeman you see, because these were younger, with beard, more brazen. I was trying to appeal to them that I've worked with police before. I've heard, just please sort of go out to them. But this time they had beaten him like, oh, but they was just still slapping me from the back. You'd be talking to another one, and someone would just come and slap you from the back, and you feel dizzy at once, and it's like. It was so fast.
In that same space?
In that same space.
At this point, had they handcuffed you?
At this point, they had handcuffed me, and every now and again, one will come and press it harder so that I feel the head. I was so thirsty. One guy came in, he was like, oh, Caleb. Then he got me water. Even drinking the water was difficult.
Because of the way the handcuff was. Did you speak to Azugu?
Yeah, after he spoke to OJ, he didn't deal with me much. He was very angry because the guy had really, really worked him up, and he was so sure that I was just there to cause mayhem for them.
Now, the Ayawaso Commission report made some specific recommendations about Azugu, and my colleague Raymond Acquah joins me via Zoom to tell us exactly what was said. Now, what was the Commission's finding about his role in the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election violence? Raymond, you have to unmute.
Forgive me. Well, I was talking about the specific indications in point 1.6, which says the commission finds that the SWAT team, which was deployed to the electoral grounds of the Baoleshi School polling station, in complete disregard of the officially laid down electoral security arrangements, were officers of the national security and its establishment. In this regard, the commission further finds that these persons were deployed and commanded by a police officer named DSP Azugu under the authority of the Director of Operations of National Security and with ultimate responsibility of the Minister for National Security. It proceeds to say that the commission finds that these men were deployed to follow up on some intelligence, and it was also clear that the said intelligence was neither shared with the police itself, who were in charge of security for the election, nor was the said intelligence information tested in accordance with known and standardized protocols. This is further compounded by the copious evidence before the commission, and it made this particular claim that, which suggested that they didn't follow the very best of standards expected. In fact, the commission then says the intelligence which formed the basis for the deployment of the armed men from national security was at best of unreliable quality, and said that the intelligence was not shared rather with the appropriate state agencies for it to be cross-checked, fact-checked, and put in the right perspective. So basically, the commission said that the deployment was done in a poor way. The man who led the team, DSP Azugu, actually failed to command to the best of the standards expected of a commander on the ground on the day.
All right. So what did it recommend as far as DSP Azugu is concerned?
The recommendation was that in pursuant of what has happened, and specifically point 833 states that the commission recommends the immediate removal of DSP Samuel Kojo Azugu from command responsibility at the Ministry of National Security. And it gives a reason for it. Given his failure to appropriately command and control the SWAT team of which he had charge during the operation. In fact, it proceeds to also say that this particular incident was the one that happened at the Baoleshi police station, and recommended, further saying, it is recommended that he should be reassigned by the IGP. And this was in point 8.33.
All right. So this is what the commission's report recommended, or the commission recommended. So what was government's response to that?
So the white paper on the report of the commission indicated that the government takes note of the commission's recommendation in the paragraph I just spoke about, which was on specifically page 58 of the report, and refers the recommendation to the Inspector General of Police for his consideration. So that was what was indicated in there. They didn't say that, well, we have dismissed this particular recommendation. They didn't reject it. They say that they have taken note of it. And if you reference that, because the commission itself had said they should direct the IGP. It says here that the IGP should be the one reassigning Mr. Azugu. The government's white paper then said, we have taken notice of this. We are referring it to the IGP for him to consider your recommendation. What is unclear is whether or not he was reassigned from command control in this case, or he's actually been given a different role at the national security. But what we know for a fact that he's still within the enclave, and as has been told us, he's still the man in charge of some of these activities.
All right, thank you very much, Raymond Acquah, for bringing us that insight. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but still ahead. If you've ever wondered why some commercial transport drivers go great lengths to fill their fuel tanks to the brim and even shake the vehicle, you're not alone. We've been finding out why.
More. It was a major the whole day, no. Kakra bin head and metal.
What fell no? Ubet me at 120. A bayama, tate Ghana or profit. And Tinama, a
But should the practice be encouraged, we'll be seeking some answers. And then in business, ADB rejects claims it is shifting from its core business of funding a Greek to real estate development.
It isn't true. It isn't true because it is an agricultural bank, with a universal bank with an agricultural focus. And therefore, our priority areas are into the agri value chain.
Business comes up after this break. Do stay tuned in.